Okay, call meeting to order, Whately Board of Assessors, December 10th, 2025. First item on the agenda is, okay, call to order. Next is discuss, tax status. I think we've all seen what is being proposed. I haven't heard whether the final.
I thought the DOR agreed to read on it.
I haven't seen anything in writing saying that.
You know,
The newspapers agree, everybody's got it in.
I'm not for sure, but Derek sent us something. Let me just check real
You
quick.
did? I didn't see that.
You were on the tag, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Let's
When
see.
did I?
Let's
Yeah,
see.
he said something Monday or something. Was it Monday or last Friday? Last Friday they went in, it was getting
I thought, yeah,
proposed.
I
discussed.
could be wrong, but I thought it was Derek.
Okay.
Well, I'm not seeing it immediately, but
Okay, the other thing that we're related to that, and I put in your packet here, that I don't know if some of you seen with relation to the tax classification hearing, I thought it was useful information I used in prior years, and I thought maybe you would want to see what's been developed in the past. I developed this with spreadsheets with first it's a growth in values. And the key thing here is to see the residential is roughly the 80%. The far right column, our commercial rate is roughly 20%. That hasn't changed
Yes.
really. And
I see since 2018, I got you.
yeah. And if you look at the other page, next page, assessed values by class and tax rates. You know, I was kind of tracking neighborhood communities. You can see where Whately falls in. This, I didn't update this with all of 24, 25, because I gave it to Derek or Stephen, I guess, last year and told them, here's what we presented to select board and it's useful, and they didn't do anything with it, so I didn't either.
But regards, well, okay, catch
And
me up, regards to our presentation.
Right.
Thursday.
right,
I thought that went quite well.
right. And one of the items I was looking at was a split tax rate for communities. You can see in the middle, the Franklin County ones that we have here, plus Hadley had it for a year, then they changed it back to single rate.
Show me where
Hadley.
Greenfield or Hadley.
In the middle, split tax rate communities,
Yes, gotcha.
the Hadley, I had it in fiscal year 22.
Those percentages of commercial to residential were higher,
Right,
which is the question I asked, or at least suggested that we don't think it's equitable to do a split tax rate. However, at what point would it become equitable?
well, you can,
It's a good question.
yeah, and you can see the percentage that they have commercial versus, you know, the top half shows that we're all in the 80% range for residential.
Right.
And in the middle with the split rates, they go anywhere from 10 to 60, well, mine goes 66 to 30. They're in the 30% range, so you have a lot more, well, less residential, but more commercial.
Oh, row looking at 89% commercial,
Yeah,
industrial and personal property,
right,
and
Well,
they do a split.
yes. Yeah, that was.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the question is, what percentage makes it equitable? Because our argument was this is not equitable.
Right.
Residential and commercial. Because we're only 20%.
Yeah,
What percentage would say, no, it's equitable, we should do it? And I don't know if we'll ever get there, but
yeah, it's,
be prepared for that if the day comes. Matter of fact, be prepared for that question. The select board says, okay, board of assessors,
well,
but I don't think they will, but.
so just to share with you what I've done in the past, what this board has done. I haven't updated it for all 24, 25, or even 26, but the numbers are on the DOR website, you know. That's where I got all of these from too.
That's a good report. This probably wouldn't have been bad information to submit to the select board that way.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I tried last year and I think even this year to David, and it's like, well, we got our CAD program we want to do, so.
I didn't know you even submitted this to them.
Yeah, I showed him this as an example of what I've done in the past, and if we wanna update, if you wanna update it and use it, and I never heard one way or another.
Again, I didn't know you had done that.
Yeah, well, now you know, I guess,
I know,
if we wanna use it in the future, I guess we can.
I got the impression that, our presentation was so organized
Yeah,
and short to the point and not complicated.
yeah, right,
We didn't get any negatives from any select board. They're just like,
no,
good.
yeah,
across the board.
yeah.
And I think it was due to our presentation.
Yeah.
Probably didn't hurt that a bunch of commercial
Commercial,
businesses
yeah.
were out there going, I don't think this is fair. But still, it was much better in terms of its presentation by far than it
Right.
was last year.
Yeah,
Last year was a disaster.
yeah, right, cause we didn't, the
A
numbers.
disaster.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
Right,
So
so,
if you present them with clean, simple, thought out arguments or discussion, you paint a picture that makes it difficult for them to disagree.
right,
And I think we did that. I think we did that quite well. Jane, you were in Europe, so you were.
yeah, I think, we need to. And maybe for the future, less focus on Yankee Candle, cause
Yeah, I was a little big on that, but
that seemed to be a big item for him, and
yeah, and Fred brought up an excellent question. If Yankee Candle were to leave town, what would be their tax rate? They'll be under storage then at that point, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Just, and that's a different tax rate
yeah,
then. Yeah, I
Yeah.
probably dwelled on that just a bit, but I was just trying to say that they could care less one way or the other. It's the small businesses where we should be concentrating on.
and that's who showed up, as small businesses that were here,
50% of all America is small business. I guess I don't know what the parameters are, but still. I do, but it was just would complicate the discussion.
yeah. And I know, were you still here when I made the final comment to the board about?
That I couldn't
If
understand.
we're gonna continue discussing this in the future, you need to tell us ahead of time that you're thinking about it.
But they said it was, the Massachusetts law says they have to bring this up every.
Well, right, but not to the degree and not to all the information that we presented or that RRG presented. Well,
I'm still not following you. as to
well,
where
they,
you're going with that.
didn't present a whole lot, other than that, maybe that spreadsheet at the
Yes.
end showing individual properties and
Yes.
and.
But get back to what you said. I'm not sure I understood what you were trying to tell the select board, because this is
Well,
something we do every year, right?
right, but when they first started to consider it 2 years ago, we had a meeting with one of the select board, myself, our assistant assessor, and I think finance committee.
Yes.
Maybe somebody else. This was like in October, we met and talked about it. We looked at different ratios to shift the tax to the 50 up to the 50% level. We looked at that, we looked at more properties, and we had time to think about it and develop different scenarios showing different impacts. We did this in October. And so our assistant assessor would know how to adjust the tax rates or send out the next tax bills. And that was, it took, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks or whatever, some meetings to finally decide what we wanted to do. Well, it wasn't the final decision. The board, the assessors had one opinion and the select board had a different. And we were trying to iron it out ahead of time, but we didn't succeed. And it all came to head at the select board meeting.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
It's
Yeah.
interesting, if I could. Generally speaking, when you get what you want, run out the door.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't even dwell,
Yeah.
nothing. Don't let them think that, did I make the right decision? Just move.
yeah,
And then,
yeah,
and then if you still have that concern,
Yeah.
certainly address it.
yeah.
That's just my,
Yeah, they have a right to look at, question the rates and the
Sure.
impact and all that, but we went on, or too much detail in that study back then.
back then, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's why I don't see the need to do it now, because you look at the percentages that were, the
Yes.
residential compared to commercial, that's the key driving force of when you look at a split rate, because you
Yes.
can see the split rates, how much difference there is in that. And, you know, you can look at the other 100 communities in town, in the state that have a split rate, and you're gonna see the 30 to 40% residential only. We're not even close to that.
We're not close to that, so, but again, if they were 100% in agreement with pretty much everything we said.
Yeah,
They were just like, let's just get this over.
Right, but I think that the small businesses that were here were tired of hearing the same argument over and over again.
Let's bring Jane up to speed just a bit. So I didn't know this, Jane. I thought that Fred on the select board just had this issue and he always wanted to discuss split tax rate. But the state, is it the state of Massachusetts, that somewhere there's a regulation that says every year the select board has to entertain this. They can't gloss over it. They have to bring it to the public's mind.
Right.
And then from there, the decisions are made. So I thought it was just one member of the select board who was just stuck on this issue. Stuck as a bad word, just as an opinion that is different perhaps than others. And it wasn't that at all. This is law. It has to happen every year.
Yeah, right.
So I thought that was a nice clarification for me. Yeah.
Right. But
I will say one other thing, and when I did an opening statement, when Fred did an opening statement, I mean, I was gonna go through some things. And when I met with Fred and the board, with the board says, just before the meeting, he says, you know what? I'm not sure my stuff has relevance as much as others, so I'm just gonna sit back and be quiet, if that's okay with you. And the first thing Fred says as his opening meeting, Mike would like to say something. Like, I thought we just agreed. No, it was all good, because I went right into the areas, that was my whole presentation. Yeah, regarding mission statement and what we should and shouldn't be doing and how fair it would be, things like that.
Okay, well, I guess next year decide whether we want to do more specific comparisons to communities like I try to do here or not.
Yeah, I would say yes. However, I would also say that how simplistically we approach this year would be that's the game plan. We start throwing in minutia, well, maybe not minutia, but things that complicate the issue and it goes sideways.
Right.
So,
Because, you know, and we all know how big the is here in I'm not sure they're the biggest commercial in town anymore.
I don't know.
You look at Norristown here, what they're doing.
I did know they pay about $130,000.
Yeah, so,
That would be a loss to us, but
yeah,
no, it went as smooth as we could have expected,
yeah.
in my opinion.
Okay, so that's all. I just wanted to share with you what data I've done in the past to give to the board.
And again, if we can present this as simply as was presented the tax classification document that I already put together.
Yeah.
Saying, and additionally, I mean, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. I think walking through that classification, that tax classification document, even though I looked at it 7 times, it's still, I'm always confused on the levy limit.
Yeah.
And 2%, I mean, it just always confuses me a bit, but still. If you can tie that document better into the LA4
Yeah.
and into this, because that was kind of a little bit glossed over, but I think the board was already made their mind.
Yeah.
That's just an opinion.
Okay. Any more questions on this? And I assume based on that last email that Derek sent that they will tell us when the final
You know,
DOR approves the final rate or when the tax bills go out or what, or no, they said they're also gonna put the update the property cards in the Patriot system and put that, make that available, you know, online when you go on the assessor's page to look. You can see all that information should be final and available today. Last year, we had to keep harassing them to get it, and it was until February, till after the abatement period ended. So people had no idea. Well, other than if you got a tax bill, you know what your tax was, but you couldn't sit down and the assessor's page and see, well, what's my neighborhood doing? What's my neighbor doing? You couldn't see that, it wasn't there. It didn't come out till February. We're saying it's way too late. Why don't you do it? Well, we asked 3 or 4 times till it finally got done.
Um. That's fine.
So,
I
okay,
don't disagree.
okay, so we'll see what else happens. Maybe next week's meeting they'll have information to share with
Isn't that
us.
one of the things you wanna present to them, if that's what you want?
Well,
Through a board agreement?
board agreement that,
Well, that's the one thing you would like to see happen, right?
yeah, right.
And we were, I thought part of this meeting was to
Yeah.
present to them some of the things we'd like to see happen.
Yeah, well, they said that would happen, so I guess I'm gonna
okay.
wait to see,
Okay, yeah,
to see what ends up, so,
okay.
okay. Okay, moving on, we keep talking about different activities, I guess, that we want to discuss with RNG. That's, I try to put together my list here with some background examples of some of these.
You can give us a copy of that list.
Yeah. And you're back and get the next. After the first, yeah, I think that's what I shared with you last night in an email too. Just as a starting point to talk about stuff that we've kind of done in the past. And I don't see much of this being done in the future, or hasn't been done the last 2 years, unless we want to speak up and ask RRG to do some of this. And there's a lot here. I'm not proposing we ask to do everything unless you two people want that. Cause they're gonna object to say, well, we don't have time to sign a contract, or you're micromanaging how we do things here.
You probably need to leave that alone.
Yeah, so,
But I understand.
so some of this is the summary information at the top is pretty easy to get to. It's just sitting down in front of the computer and sorting the Patriot software by these criteria and printing it out, putting it in a spreadsheet, printing it out. That's happened in the past. I don't know, we didn't get all that last year. Yeah, we got some of that last
So
year.
maybe from this list, if you present this to them and say, which of these can you do? And see what they say, and if the ones that are the highest priority to you are on their list,
Yeah,
then that's good, and if there are some that are. Perhaps you need to rank these,
all right.
this is the most important one, this is next most important, because as Mike said, or you said, I'm not sure who just said it. They may say this is not all in the contract, but if you were to pick. Maybe you pick 3 of them, we decide on 3 of them. And then maybe, they do those 3, and if things are calm and settled, then you can go back and say, would it be possible, to do this one? I think to go in with what's most important to the board.
Right, and that's what I wanted to be, to talk with you two, to see what you
So
thought.
let me
was
ask,
most important,
This-
and of all these on here, there's only one thing really that they haven't done. And they keep talking about it, and we go in circles, is a 10-year list.
yeah, that's important to me.
Yeah, that's
That would be
listed
one of the
in
things I
their,
would wanna see.
in their contract to do that. They didn't do it
Well, let me
when
ask you
Stephen
this.
was here, and we haven't done it this year.
Let me ask you this. We're the Board of Assessors. Can't we print off, I think there's properties in town, 25 years we haven't seen.
Yeah,
Can't we?
Well,
list those?
wasn't there a list that Derek emailed us that was pages and pages and
that's right, you
pages?
did, yeah.
And
So,
so they're aware of it. So
Right.
maybe the question is, how are they progressing? What progress have you made on that 10-year list that you sent us?
Right,
Is that a positive, appropriate
Yes,
way
why
of
can't
saying
we
it?
just go? Why can't we just
Well,
say these are the top 20? Let's
for-
go
for-
do it ourselves.
first off, you gotta sort the list somehow, electronically. Unless you wanna go manual and go through and identify.
No,
the ones-
I agree with that. Give us the list.
And to do it electronically, I don't think it's in the format you can do it, I forget what it's in, you need it in a what, Excel
Sure.
spreadsheet, so you can sort based on, how old or the date of the last inspection, maybe the value of the property.
Sure. the way-
Sales, yeah, but I couldn't do it on what they sent, the, what, 18 pages or whatever, and to go through each one to pull out the, what, couple dozen that we wanna look at first is
But
a task to do.
I'd be stunned if that couldn't be pulled up electronically. I'd be
Yeah.
stunned if they couldn't.
But we have to ask them, and they haven't done that, cause we haven't asked, and I don't know how they plan on managing that list.
Okay, I'm with you now. Once they pull that up electronically, say we want to see electronically first 50, oldest 50. And they present that, what's to stop us from starting those inspections? Us being the board.
Nothing,
I mean, I know that's what we're paying for,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
if we could go do this, that would be the easiest of all inspections, in my opinion.
right, but even, I'd have to look at contracted.
Mhm.
If it says, their contract, if it says do inspections or just to update and verify information on the 10-year list,
I think we're the assessors.
so.
We
yeah.
provide them with the assessing information. They crunch
Okay.
the numbers.
Well, then
That's-
then it comes down to, do we wanna do inspections regardless of whether they want to or not?
I think I would like or be interested in the 10-year inspection list. That would be one that's important to me. The new sales inspection list, I'm comfortable with MLS, but there are issues there that might have to be looked at. But I would like them to go in and do the new sales, because if we accompany them, we're gonna
Well-
just be button heads,
Yeah, and I think they did that for Sherry,
and we butt heads. That's basically,
on some,
yeah.
uh,
So look, staying with the 10-year list. Certainly, let's ask them, unless you disagree, Jane, with the oldest properties in town up to a number, 20, that haven't been seen. Sometimes 20 years, these properties have not, I guarantee there's changes there, guarantee. And that's lost revenue for the town of Whately, if there were changes.
right,
So that would be important to me, to just get that list. Once we have the list, if we can work with them and say, is this part of your contract or not? Either way, I don't think it's a bad idea. I mean, of all the inspections that I would be interested in doing to keep me comfortable, would be that list.
okay,
So you were gonna say something, go ahead, I don't want to stop you.
The only thing I feel is that I thought we turned over the inspections to them. Kind of, we were going to stay out of it, so they were the experts, they could come in and go out of properties relatively quickly. And I worry about two different views. That if they're going to do the inspections, they need to do all of the inspections, so that there's a consistency.
I like that.
And, you know, I think we need to ask them, what's the status of the 10 years, what's happening? Let's put a plan in place, because we feel like, I agree that it's lost revenue. I definitely agree with that, but I think we need to give them a chance to explain where they are on that and what's their plan.
And to your point, we still gotta check the contract. Does the contract say they will do all inspections? The contract we have with our group.
Well, I thought that was a discussion that we had had.
I do remember that discussion. I also remember saying I wasn't interested in doing inspections on new sales. I was interested in inspections on the 10-year list. I remember saying
I
that.
don't remember you separating the two out, but
I don't know, that 10-year list seems important to me, and the state of Massachusetts thinks it's important too. And if they say, we're just not interested in that list because we think it's a not a productive use of our time, well, we can say, we are interested, and we can go do it. If they don't wanna do it, but I'm with you, I mean, that list, I don't know, I did that and the permit list. Those are the things I'd be interested in.
Well, it says specifically, okay, conduct inspections of all properties which the town has issued, okay, building permits, that's one that. And I think they've done that, because we went with them on some of them, you know, your neighborhood, we did
Yeah.
one over,
Sure.
over there,
Yeah.
okay. Then it says conduct periodic inspections per year. As instructed by the board to meet DOR mandate for properties to be
There you go, 10
inspected
years.
at least once in every 10-year period. Conduct inspections as instructed by the board,
So we can instruct them to give us their plan on that.
right? And we're the only things, the two kind of inspections that they specify in here to do.
So it's just permits and what, and 10 years?
Yeah,
Doesn't have anything to do with new growth or anything like that.
well, that's part of maintaining the records and updating.
Okay, okay. So either way, even if they said they would do it, that's one area, because you've been in all these houses, Fred.
Yeah,
That's one area I would like to go. I would accompany them if they would feel okay with it. So that and the permit list, we can get that, I believe I can get that from FERCog. All the permits that have been pulled. All the permits that have been pulled.
and they shared that with us too, they gave us that list.
Did they give us this? Okay,
Yeah.
because when I saw
Remember,
that,
they only focused on the ones for, I guess, new growth. They didn't do the roofing, the siding ones, new windows maybe,
that's.
that kind of stuff. They didn't do all of them.
Well, if it's a new roof, that's important. Yeah. Okay. I thought it was, but. So if someone puts an addition on their house, that's scary.
Yeah, and that's, new growth if they did an addition. Okay, but the thing. That. I don't, it's a little, I don't know, concerning and confusing to me is. See, they've got an approach of how to do the inspections and update the records. They got a program to do that. And they've done it last year and they've done it this year, 2 years in a row. We've got something over here that is different than for the 2 years that they're doing. Some things that we have in each of these, yeah, they're continuing over here, but we've got other stuff in here. Do we want to still look at that or just to focus on their approach here?
No, you answer your own question.
And to look at stuff we've done in the past, it's some of these things that haven't been done last year or this year. And their approach is, well, we'll go a third year and we'll continue like we have, forget what we did here before. And when you start comparing the 3 years in a row, yeah, everything looks reasonable. The growth, the trends look all reasonable, but they didn't go inside any houses to verify building permits or anything.
Oh.
And, you know, their approach is everything is average.
And what you just said is you'd like them to do some of these things.
Yeah,
That's okay.
but it's like, well, you're telling us how to run the program, is what they're saying.
I get the impression our job as assessors, we provide them information. They crunch the numbers. That's kind of, because that's what they do so well. They crunch the numbers, but let's be specific. On that summary, that first summary, you said that some things we did, they're not doing now. Are they not doing a summary Excel spreadsheet of commercial and CIP properties?
I didn't see it this year. They did it last year.
And if you get it, what does it tell you?
Well, I mean, it's more information purposes and maybe you can tell by the properties on there whether they're reasonable or not, or did you miss something? Or if you didn't
So
update
it's like a
yours.
check, it's a check.
Yeah, check, you didn't update Norris Farms from last year to this year, and we're thinking, wow, driving by, you know, there was improvement on Norris Farms, so why didn't you increase the value there?
So
That kind of stuff.
understood.
And
So
and just to know where the bigger commercial properties are, maybe in the future, well, it kind of gets back to we didn't see any information on what they expected for commercial properties, right?
I don't know, but I wanna stick with specifics.
Yeah,
This first section would be a kind of a checklist,
yeah,
checks and balances to make sure we're not seeing large differences.
right.
That should be an easy report.
Yeah, it should be
Certainly
easy.
has to be that.
And that's, I think if you look at the next page after this, that was, you know, for, well, that's, okay, commercial. Okay, that's, okay, I focus on residential, okay, there's one for commercial, that's what I've seen in the past, we've done. This goes back to 84 when Cynthia was still here. See a listing of the properties, the values, total values, and. Yeah, it's nice to see that, but. They could say, well, what difference is it gonna make? Are you gonna tell me that this
That's what
person?
I'm asking you.
Unless it's something obvious that sticks out, but you would know that.
That's kind of
The
what I'm
range-
asking you, Fred.
The range, and if you go to, industrial, commercial was like 85, right? Next one, industrial is only 18, so you can see the big ones out there that stick out, American Tower, Covestro, and Berkshire Gas. Not even precast concrete.
Page are you on, Fred?
Um,
Just show me,
This one, that's commercial. Now, this is just 1 year, this is how we sorted the data now, it's only 1 year value, I just, like I'm saying here. We should see a 2 year value, how much did you change on these each year, this year from 25 to 26? What's the change?
Well, that would be, if this is an Excel spreadsheet,
Yeah,
that would be an easy thing to add.
yeah,
Is that what you want?
yeah, I want to see that, are we treating everyone equally or not? That's part of our mission, to treat everybody equally.
I agree, so,
Unless they had a major improvement on each of these commercial industrial, then we could say, yeah, your increase is more than the average.
so when we present this to RG, let's say, we believe this report will be beneficial for the reasons you just outlined.
Yeah,
So that's not an unreasonable request.
and to generate this report, it should be 5 minutes.
so did you generate this, Fred,
No.
or did they?
No, I did not, no.
Okay.
They did this last year, I think Stephen did it, and before that, Cynthia was doing it.
So let's stay with this.
So I don't see yours on the commercial, am I missing it?
You only got 1 page of the,
Oh,
well,
okay.
it's not in the industrial.
At a quick glance, I didn't see it on either, so.
No. No, North, there's 2 more pages for it.
So,
Okay.
So that was just the first page example of what we looked at.
so staying with these first 3, we could simply say to RG in an email, we believe, would it be possible to, add a column to the Excel spreadsheet 24 and 25, 26 as a checkpoint or a way to make sure we're up, it's something in that vein.
Yeah,
Not do it because we want you to do it because we want to keep you busy. There's got a reason we want to do it. You've already said the reason more than once.
right, but that seems to go against their micromanaging the program.
Well,
So what you're asking for, let me make sure I understand what you're saying, you would like the information for 24 and 25 and 26 on the same sheet, so
Yeah,
you
same
can
sheet.
see the assessed value.
Yeah,
Okay, I think that's a reasonable request.
okay, and like I say, it shouldn't take 5-10 minutes for them to generate that, and here's, I can give, here's an example of the columns that we want on there, other than the 2 years of data. But this is how it was sort it now.
and we're doing it because we do want to be
Yeah.
equitable
Yeah.
across all taxpayers. So,
Well, and you can say, we wanna be able to see what the changes
Yeah.
are.
sure,
We feel that that's our responsibility to see what the changes
Yeah.
are, if there's a big change. Then the company, that the industry or the commercial could question it, or if there's a big deep, you know what I'm saying, that we wanna see that there's not.
no, I'm with you, Jane. Let me ask you this, though. There is a big change on one of the businesses. What do we do then?
Well, then we say we wanna go inspect, or show us the card, and why is it a big change?
Um. That's not spot inspecting, isn't it?
You kinda do that with sales, don't you? When you look at sales, you're looking at spot.
Well, sales are sales.
Well, but if we see there's a big change in the assessed value,
I think we should go going. Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
The person may ask for an inspection because they may feel that the increase is not fair and equitable.
They would abate it,
Right.
they have that choice.
Right.
So,
And, you know, the other option is, if one of us wanted to go sit in front of the computer and do all this, we probably could, if we had training to do that. And in the past, you know, the assistant assessor there, Cynthia, did all this very easily. We didn't have to sit in front of it and decide what criteria to print out, put it in a file, spreadsheet. She did all that. I'm
So
not proposing we do that.
do you
No.
want it broken down? As it is here, the land value, the yard value, the building value?
I just wanna add 2 more columns.
That's an option. I guess we're leaving
I
it
just
to.
want us to be very specific in what we're asking for, that we know, what are we asking? Are you looking at, do you want that information for just the total value? Or are you looking for it over the, you know, when is it 25 and 26 that you want it for?
Well,
That's a good question.
yeah, or leave it up to them. I guess we could ask them would be significant.
And which one would show the biggest possible variation? Probably total value. But I would think total value would be.
Well, there's some yard value here, like LaSalle's and Alloy Farms. It's quite a bit. We're gonna co-op auction. Some of the, well, it's at one here, Land Valley, or Pioneer Valley Growers. Oh, no, I'm looking building value. Oh, okay. Yard
I would
value.
think total, well, total, and that's not wrong. Total value would
So-
be
We can decide what data we wanna show, or we can leave it up to them, I guess.
the. I
Well, if
think-
you leave it up to them, then you can't complain when they gave us.
I like
Yeah.
specifics,
Okay,
and just, you've got it specific right here.
yeah,
Right here, this is, you know, and if we present it to them in a do it or we're upset fashion, that's not gonna work. Say, we believe this falls within our mission statement.
Right.
And it also falls within our
So,
ability to.
so 24, it looks like 24 is done. So what you're looking for is 25 and 26.
sorry, 2 years, I think this one.
And I would bet that's an each report, so. We need to make a,
Okay, and. In the other part, okay, that's the commercial, industrial, and the personal property. The next group is for residential. And what we've done in the past, we just picked, well, I'm saying 50, well, what we did, I think you'll see on one sheet here, we have residential greater than 500,000 assessed value. There was probably, maybe 100 properties.
that's senior property.
So, okay, no, 88 properties were more than 50,000. Do we want, you know, I just now said maybe the top 50 largest properties, and we went out looking at the value.
So why do
What does
we
it tell
wanna
you? Yeah,
know
why do you want
that?
it?
Why do we
I
wanna
don't know, just point information, do we?
What does it tell you?
What does it tell you?
Yeah,
Other than, well, if you compare 2 years, is it gonna tell you whether they were all increased equally? Fairly? I don't know.
They may not increase equally because some of them may be an A, an A minus, a B plus, a B, a C.
yeah, a lot of parameters there.
I don't know, cause see, that's what and it was done by, this was the first page, I forget 3 page was done by owner alphabetically, by name rather than location.
Oh, I see that.
Yeah, second column here, first column owner. That was the key is to list them.
Other
I
than,
don't know, do we wanna know what the
Well,
top 50 or even at the same time, the lowest 50 are?
well, tell me what it tells us. How does it help us be equitable to all taxpayers?
And I will tell you, when I studied a lot of Patriots cards, when I did my abatement, there were very inequitable increases in assessment, in my opinion, when you looked at. And they were based on the kitchen, the bathroom.
Yeah.
So unless you dig deeply into that for the comparisons, I don't think you can I think it's comparing apples and oranges. I think I know I've been here less than a year, but I don't see how this information is useful to us unless you have the Patriots cards for every single one of these. Because they get into flooring, they get into, so they're going to increase in assessed value differently, won't they?
I don't see the value unless Fred can convince me.
Well, that gets to, well, we were looking at in Pine Plains. We had, we looked at that information and I guess that's the other alternative of. Yeah, well, you've seen this spreadsheet we've looked at for sorted for Pine Plains and we looked at the condition, the type of facility, type of building. We computed a square footage cost. But that had all the condition, the rating, number of bathrooms, the condition of bathrooms, all that stuff in a spreadsheet. We could get that for these if we wanted to do that.
Folks, before you go to Pine Plains, stay with the 50 highest and lowest. Where is that gonna get us?
Okay.
Stay with that, and to me, I'm new too, I don't see what that information is going to do for us. That's my question,
Yeah,
before you go off to Pine Plains.
well, then we could ask for that specific information like we have here for Pine Plains.
50 highest, 50 lowest.
Yeah, 50 highs, see, I don't know if you ever seen, that's a spreadsheet that
Let's say 40 of the 50
that I
highest.
got in Excel, and I sorted, I forget by the columns, different columns, whatever you wanna sort by to make comparisons.
Well, let's
Do we
take,
wanna do that for the 50 highest?
well, let me ask you this question. What if all 42 homes in Pine Plains were the highest? What does that tell you? Or the lowest? What does that tell them?
Well, you're gonna have others in town that are.
Well, just stay with Pine Plains. What if 50 of those properties?
Well, that's,
What does it tell you?
uh,
What can you deduce from that?
well. That can be a separate analysis to make sure we're looking at Pine Plains equally. Within Pine Plains, not against the rest of the town per se. And that's what we were trying to do with that spreadsheet there. Look at various criteria, and I guess what I'm saying, we could apply that. All the columns there that we're looking at individual conditions and grades and whatever to the 50 highest if we want. And see if they're all being, I guess, treated equally. Well, you got so many variables on there, you got all the individual, the kitchens, the bathrooms, square footage, you got the grade, the condition, year built, all that stuff.
Well, let me suggest that.
Makes it a difference.
I think before you do too much with this, with Pine Plains, you need to clean up the style of the houses.
Well,
Well, that's
you know,
another thing.
That's another thing, my feeling is, I don't think having the data on the 50 highest determined,
Yeah, but
highest assessed residential properties and the 50 lowest assessed residential properties. I don't see how that's gonna give us any information.
Interesting.
And
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I question. I even question doing it, because if I had a house that was on the 50 lowest I would say, why does anybody need a list to show that my house is one of the lowest assessed houses in Whately?
Other than,
I don't think it gets us anywhere,
Right,
unless you've got
information for-
something, you can change my mind, but.
or comparison to others. On on that list, I don't know.
How does it serve the
Uh,
taxpayers of
serve our
Whately?
mission.
Yeah, how does it doesn't serve our mission? How does it serve the taxpayers of Whately if we show 50 highest and lowest?
it does, it's just whether this.
And
It's interesting.
if we generate a list like that, that's public knowledge,
Of
right?
course,
Well, any
So,
of this can be,
yeah,
but
anything's public.
you know, I'm,
Okay, Fred, I'm gonna ask you one more time. What do you hope, if we get this information, what do you hope, how would it help the Board of Assessors or the town of Whately taxpayers? Positively or negatively? I guess that's my question.
so if it's in this format like we had, I guess. Just point of information, or if somebody comes in and say, what's my neighbor here look like? Well, you could get online.
You go online, do that.
Go online.
And we would do that, that's public information.
Just point of information, well, maybe you don't, we don't want that.
I jumped.
I think you know, when I look at the list, I think the 10-year and those inspections that, to have that data, that's much more. It could get at income that we're missing because things haven't been inspected. I think,
With you on that one. Again, I don't see where we're headed with on this one, Fred, unless you got a compelling argument.
No, okay, we'll cross that off the
Okay.
list.
You don't need to make motions or anything.
No. And then, Pine Plains Estates, you know, do we want that as a separate comparison, like we're doing there to make sure everybody is in the right style of house and grade condition?
And if I could say something about Pine Plains, first off, if you go back and redo some of those criteria, A, B, C, ranch, whatever, you're really questioning what you did to begin with.
Yeah,
And you probably come up with numbers and how you did it to begin with a, you know,
I
a
think
sound plan.
if you do it in one neighborhood, I think you have to do it in all, because I think then people could question, you know, why are you looking at this?
So let's put it this way, if I could. The market is a wonderful equalizer, if I could.
Yeah.
The market cuts through everything, and it's, you sell your house today for $500,000, that's its value today. And that is a much different value than tax value, because tax value is 2 years, it's historical. It's using data from 2 years ago to come up with an assessed value. Market value is today, and that's only for today, it could change tomorrow. So with that line of thinking, everyone at Pine Plains Estates is probably paying more in terms of taxes because their houses are newer, perhaps bigger, up to date. Would it make sense that new houses that are up to date and bigger than perhaps some of the houses in Whately have to pay more? Of course they would. It's the market. The market's going to dictate that. But to go in and change all those parameters, I think that we're gonna leave that to the taxpayer to say, I'm gonna do an abatement. They have that right.
Yeah.
right.
They have that right. And to Jane's point, why don't we just say, okay, let's do a 10-year study on Matthews Road.
Yeah.
Now, getting back to the lot prices, I know that's an issue for you, Fred.
Or the land value.
Yeah, the land value. Most people at Pine Plains Estates pay like 100, 105. I probably paid the most when I came in 120, somewhere there. And the tax value on that land is what, 116, which is the same to you. And I'm not sure what formula that we use to come up with, I paid 125, the value is 116. However, that is and was the approximate price of a lot in Whately for 1 acre. Now, that's gonna change for us, because we now have values over there that are above that, 150. I mean, it's only 2 or 3, I don't know what has to change. But, so when you compare a lot in Pine Plains Estates versus somewhere else in town, today, you might be able to argue, probably could argue that, you would pay more for that lot because it's private or whatever you have. versus what you might pay for somewhere else. So I'm back to, this is the market. Market will clarify everything. If we're paying more for everything in Pine Plains Estates taxes, because there are some houses in there that are quite nice. Just like there are houses on Matthews Road, and they're paying more.
Yeah.
So how do you go in and say, well, we need a 10-year study on this. This doesn't seem right. It's back with this, your economic locations, East Whately, West Lacey, and what's this, Village Center.
Yeah,
That has been the way it is for forever, although I know there's been some discussion about East Whately in a category called Pine Plains Estates.
Right.
But according to RG, they just use those three. What would be the goal to put Pine Plains Estates as another economic location? Let me rephrase, not the goal. What would be the purpose when wherever you are, you're gonna pay taxes based on the value of your property, be it go up and down?
And the thing that I would add is each of those other areas has an ability to grow. There's no more land in Pine Plains Estate.
Good point.
So of course, if there is a lot that, there's a couple of empty lots that people haven't decided what to do, of course,
Supply and demand.
supply and demand.
There's
But
no
you know,
supply.
if there were 30 more lots to be purchased, I don't think you'd see them selling for 150 because there's 30.
That's an estimate, real estate
So
one.
there's no place for it to grow.
okay,
But the only growth is gonna be in values as time goes on.
but two years ago, Pine Plains Estates was at the what, 115, 116 value, and the rest of East Whately was in the 95 to 100 range. And in the first year we got involved with RRG, they made everything the 116.
Well, maybe we
And
should
I
ask them
keep
why.
asking, why? Well, we had 3 houses sold in Pine Plains, so that's why the value should be higher.
Well,
All of East Whately and all of East Whately, that's probably a third of the town. That includes everybody from at least State Road East, all them houses east of State Road are now says the same value for land.
well, that leads me to my question, Fred. What does the town do when a property sells for 1 acre lot? They kind of assign it a number, don't they?
Yes, and we've done that in the past, some on State Road sold for 30,000, 50,000. On State Road, closer to the intersection or Christian Lane, they sold for that price. But we assigned the land value of 95,000. We didn't go by what they paid for it.
Yes, and my question is, how did you come up with that number?
Cause I guess that's traditionally what we had for land values. I don't know how far back it goes, whether we increased a certain percent every year or what, but it's been in the 90 to 100,000 range. If you go back 2 years and look at the data, that's what you're gonna see. For all of East Whately, see, my house was the same way. It was, I don't know, 95, then all of a sudden last year it went up to 116. There's very few land sales, lot sales. In East Whately, other than, I guess I would say Pine Plains, maybe Egypt Road has a few, but. And then you got some in the west, part of the state, but. I never got an answer why all of East Whately all of a sudden is the same land value. Yeah, it's easier to put in a computer to do them all the same, but.
Well, that's a reasonable question.
You know, or looking at, you know, if you're looking at the types of land in, let's just say East Whately, you got, you know, State Road corridor, you got Pine Plains, you got Egypt Road. Do you think the lots on Egypt Road should be valued the same as the lots on Pine
Tax,
Plains?
we're talking tax
Yeah,
value.
tax value, then that should be the same.
I think you've come up with a number for those, and I don't know how you get your numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
Mike, didn't you do something looking at land sales
it
in
did,
the area? And
It's hard to comp out, but yes, I did.
and
I didn't see him. Fair market analysis.
yeah, I don't think they did anything with that, yeah.
So I don't
That's
see
this thing that you did here,
that, yeah, I mean, that's difficult.
23. Over 3 acres was, you know, more,
It's not easy because you don't have a lot of similarities up there.
yeah,
Well, there aren't a lot of sales even from what I understand.
no.
So
There,
it makes it less credible, I guess, not enough data to back up what you're trying to say. But today, well, there are no more lots in Pine Plains, but I guess the question now is, what if there are a lot come up on Christian Lane for, it would probably go up at 150, my guess,
Yeah,
because that seems to be the going rate
yeah,
for any type of buildable lot.
yeah.
And if it had more acreage, perhaps more, I don't know. But you know, you could do an abatement, Fred, if you feel that
Yeah.
that was an incorrect number.
Yeah, but everybody else around me, the other 250 houses that are in East Whately got the same land value.
Like I say, you can do an abatement,
Well, so,
or you have to come up with some sort of change.
well, couldn't you do an abatement based on the fact that you question the increase that
Yeah.
happened?
I
That,
tried to do that without filing abatement, but I didn't get anywhere, and it's like, well, that's the value we're
I
saying.
think your question is unreasonable. Let's put it in our email. How did you come up with land values? They'll probably have a good answer. I don't know the answer. I know that the market dictates. And that's the end of the story.
West Whately, you look online, West Whately's in the 90,000 range. Their land values are all in
West
the
Whately?
90s. West Whately. All from center of town, from just Chestnut Plain Road, all heading west, that's all in the 90,000. Well, it's 90,000 to start with, some of it have the view tax on top of
Right,
it, but.
right.
But the base is 95,000, say, for all of them. Are then lots worth less, even the ones on Masterson Road, they started at 95 and we applied a view tax, so they're up to 140, 150. Well, that's probably what
about
they
right,
paid,
yeah,
what they
yeah.
paid about
They paid
that,
about 150. I almost bought a lot.
yeah. But it started at 95 and they're still that way, 95. They didn't adjust all of them to 116.
95 plus the blue. Oh, that sounds like you have an abatement.
Should we adjust the whole town to 116?
I think they have data to support it. They did. We should just ask.
I've never seen it, and I don't know why they did East Whately just and not the rest.
Again, I don't think you're being unreasonable. If you feel that you want to know that answer, let's ask them.
Right.
And I don't think that's an unreasonable request. You may or may not like the answer, but certainly you can ask it.
is that a question to, like, request an appointment? You know, not, you know, and,
Amen. I understand.
you know, to go in and talk to Derek and David, and can you explain how my land value increased like this? I don't understand why and how.
Mhm.
And, then if you don't get any satisfaction there, then maybe
Abatement.
file an abatement.
Yeah. This is, I know this has bothered you, Fred.
Yeah, I kind of done it last year in writing, I back in February, March, when Manzello came in and talked about the analysis for the growth and all that. Based on sales and all, and I asked them, one of the questions, how'd you come up with land values for East Whately? And it's like, well, I don't know the answer, they didn't answer, they didn't have an answer. And in writing, and we asked once or twice and we never got an answer.
Here's your opportunity. We want to ask them some questions. I don't know where.
Yeah,
I
I won't get anywhere with Derek, it's.
would, and they would say, we're not, this is going to RRG, we send it right back to David Manzello.
Okay.
Unless.
Should we have different land values for, say, these 3 areas of town?
Well, that's your question. How did you come up with those land values?
Yeah.
And then they'll
So
explain it.
I think that's a really good way of saying it. These 3 areas, then you're not pointing to one.
Right.
Can you
Yeah.
explain to me,
Would you explain? Yes.
you know, what are the land values in East Whately? What are the land values in West Whately and the village center? Okay, I don't know, is it the same throughout each area, Fred, or is there variation?
No, no. Adjacent houses in each area are the same.
And it comes down to how do we come up with a land value?
Yeah, I should come up
I don't
with
know how.
one.
How does the town of Whately, through the Board of Assessors, it's a question we should know. How did you come up with those land values?
And, you know, I kind of mentioned this to Derek, I don't know, we're sitting here at the last meeting or in his
I was there.
office. And he said, well, this other guy that came that did the analysis, looked at land value, Harold looked at land value, so what's your question?
Well, you butt heads
Well,
with Derek, I wouldn't go there.
That wasn't looking at,
So does this say what?
Same thing.
Go
How
ahead.
do you come up with land values, and are they referred to as economic areas?
Locations,
I wouldn't call it economic, cause we don't have.
Okay.
just in those three areas, that's
In
fine.
the three,
Economic zones or whatever.
Zones
in
that
the
we don't-
three zones,
Yeah.
economic sometimes has a negative connotation. In the three zones, East Whately, West Whately, and Village Center.
Yeah,
That, I think that's a fair question, it's not pointing at any one, it's like, we need to understand how the land.
We're getting questions.
Why are they even, why are they different, you know, what do you look at, what are the qualifications, and then. It's a broad-based question, it's not like, I'm asking, why is mine this much?
Right.
But why are,
Yeah. I don't think it's not a reasonable question. I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable for anybody to walk in this room from the taxpaying public and say.
cause I couldn't tell anybody
I can't
that,
tell.
I don't understand.
I couldn't either, cause I never got the answer that I asked.
So, okay.
And I know that Derek's answer as well, Harold Shields, whatever, told you, looked at that and they seemed reasonable. Well, that's not what he was looking at.
Yeah,
They're
I like,
reasonable for the sales he was looking at, I
You
guess.
you can blame it on me as a new person, or Mike and I as new people, that we would like a better understanding of
yes,
how land values are determined in the three zones, East Whately, West Whately, and Village Center. I think that frames it in a
Okay.
non-confrontational way.
I agree. And my gut tells me they will have that answer and they'll have that answer backed up by data. And if they don't have it backed up by data, well, then how did you come up with it?
Yeah,
I'd be stunned if they didn't have that. And I don't know how they came up with it, but it is something the board should know, really. We should know that. While we're on this, can we add? Wait a minute, not now, but I wanna make sure that, we know what's going on North Street. We're in, I don't wanna give the address, but I would like to know what's going on with that.
after we're done here, I'll show you, I'll share with you.
Oh, thank you, okay.
So, for we finish my list, okay, Pine Plains Estates, we don't wanna do anything separate with that. You're saying we don't need to ask them for a spreadsheet like that, like I had before or whatever.
Yes, unless you think there's something that would reveal and help, but I don't know where we're going on that.
Okay, I'll leave that off, okay, 10-year inspections, okay, the sales arms length, they did analysis, and that's what this Harold Shields did, the sales and whatever.
You say arm's length,
They did
The
arm's
ones
length
that-
sales, right, but my concern is the ones that are not arm's length. Like the two across the road from me are not arm's length because they have a business with one and they have a four-stall garage with the other. And they didn't look at any what changes other than the standard percentage of growth, 7% or 10%, whatever they put. And their answer from David is, well, they're not arm's length, so we can't really adjust like we adjust arm's length sales, but that means everything goes back to the regular increase.
How do you know that was not not an arm's length
They said though,
transaction?
they said so.
So they
It's
paid
not on
me
the list.
75 for that.
Yeah, it's on the list. I asked these two houses on the list here that are the $200,000 or $300,000 difference in assessed value versus sale value. why wasn't that in the analysis you did? That Harold Shields did, and David Burgess' answer was, they're not arm's length, so we don't include them.
Well, you would normally not include our.
Right, but then maybe the question, without being specific as to what houses we're looking at, what properties. How do you, and there may be others the same way, well, there probably is others on that list. How do you determine the value? Other than an average condition, it's all you're doing, you're saying it's average for a single family home. Went up 7%, so that house across the road from me that sold for 900, now their value went up from 400 to 480. There's still 300,000 difference.
I'm not following you. First of all, I think that sale was an arm's length transaction. When you pay $875,000 for a
It
property,
wasn't on their list.
so they're saying it was not.
One or two of them were, at least one of them was not.
I bet the barn was not an arm's length. They paid $875 for that property.
Yeah, we had a barn and office in the barn, in that, or apartment unit or APU
For a
or
daughter, I
whatever.
think. For daughter.
There, yeah. And the main house, but the other one has got the house and a 4-stall garage. So I don't know, but they didn't adjust for.
Wait.
I guess maybe it comes to how close of a value do you think your assessed value should be to what you paid? You paid $875, wouldn't you expect your assessment to be somewhere close to that?
No. Again, you're using stale or old data to come up with that. And you're confusing market value with assessed value, They're two different things, not even close to the same.
But maybe, okay, if it's $875, no, I wouldn't, I guess, I don't know what the difference should be, but to me, a 300,000 difference in assessed value, does that seem reasonable?
Well, probably not, given the context of your question,
Yeah,
but the question now becomes. Is that enough for us to do an inspection? Or is that not an inspection?
well, it should be, I mean, well, that's what we used to do before we dealt with RG, that was our trigger to do inspections. The big difference is like that. Sales versus assessed value, we would go look, inspect, make sure we missed something, didn't miss something, basement wasn't finished. Or it is finished now, we didn't have it on there, or you added another bathroom, or you did something else, new kitchen. You can't tell that just looking at a sale price, now maybe Zillow or MLS will tell you that, but
Maybe.
you can't do that without an inspection, and that's what we used to do.
I don't know. I don't have a good answer on this one. Other than there seems like there's missing data somewhere.
Yeah, there's two houses. It's sold for the same price on Christian Lane, that one across from me for $575.
That was $875.
No, the other one, the other one, one with the 4-stall garage, whatever, it says that 560, whatever. And it says value is in the 300 range. There's one at the other end of Christian Lane, before you go up the hill, Christian Lane on the left, Luke's old house. That's assessed the value, it's the same price, 560. We were in there, or at least I was in there a year or two ago, looked at the condition. And it's in the close to 500 range. That value, same, it's sold for that price of 500, both of them sold for the 500 range. And one is assessed close to 500, and the other is 200,000 difference.
I don't have a good answer.
And they don't seem to care because they're not going in to verify anything different.
Because they're saying it was not an arm's length transaction.
Yeah.
Not one of those.
And I know by seeing what's going on at them two properties, well, the two across from me, you know, and some of them are on the building permit list. They've had contractors in there doing work. since they bought it. So there has been improvement since they bought it,
Well, then,
but
would it be
If
unreasonable?
there's a building permit, then don't we go in and inspect based on the building permit? And if the permit hasn't been closed,
well,
then I think some of the properties that we visited this past summer, the permits had kind of like dragged on, so we went in and did an inspection, so if
Right.
they've had permits, then doesn't that give us the right to go in and inspect?
well, yes.
Or am I
Sure.
off base?
But one of my first complaints when I got here. And someone thought we shouldn't be working with the permit department, we should be working very closely. with the permit
Yeah.
department.
Yeah,
And when we can get that list from FERC.
yeah,
So when I drive home tonight, and I see a new garage or one of these buildings, I can go to there's a bunch of places in town which has some refurbishing. I can go to the FERC inspection list to say, it's 111, I'm making up an address,
Yeah.
Main Street, and pull a permit.
look at the ones just down the road here, down the street.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And right and left is new garages built
Yeah, yeah,
last year.
No, that's what I'm basically
Yeah.
saying. So we should work closely with the permitting department. We really haven't,
But,
in my opinion, so far. So I would like to see it. I bet I can call FERC. I know somebody who works up there and I said, how do I get a list of permits pulled in Whately in this timeframe? I guarantee they'll give it to me.
well,
It's public records.
I kind of asked that and to do it yourself online, you needed a password or access to it, and they wouldn't give it to me.
I allotted an hour for the meeting in my schedule,
Okay. You got other things. going.
so,
So,
I need to
We
leave.
need to wrap
and
this
then I-
up.
Yeah, to wrap it up, I mean, I can give you another 15 minutes, but that's about it, cause
Well, let's stay with the program.
Okay.
Let's simply say to RRG. There are a couple of houses that we're confused about as to proper assessed value based on sales that may or may not have been arm's length. Could you clarify?
Okay,
I mean, that's not an unreasonable request.
okay, and so it could, yeah, do that for, yeah, that's stuff that they can,
Yeah.
address. And how about the last one, I've mentioned this once or twice, and we had the house across from the town hall sold for, I don't know, approximately quite a bit, and I think David Burgess looked at it and said, well, we didn't have the right description on here, so yeah,
Town
this
hall
is,
on Chestnut Lane.
yeah, the assessed value was correct. So he adjusted, I guess,
That three family thing.
yeah, adjusted the value.
I think that's so
And that
far.
was because, well, one thing I noticed, it was built in the 1800s. And there's other houses that are that way. And do you think an 1800 house it hasn't had any improvements?
Well, you're asking its economic age,
Yeah,
and its economic age, if it's been improved, is not 1800. That's your argument, right?
right,
So, so you're saying there are 1800 homes and with effective years that should be larger
built
than
in the
that.
1800s, yeah, that should either have an effective year,
Of greater than that based on improvement.
right?
Other than, is there any information in the town or through the state of Massachusetts, if it's built in the 1800s, 1900s and improved, we give this different status and or apply differently appraisal backgrounds?
I don't know.
I would think economic age is everything. So if you improved your house, you improved the economic age.
Yeah,
So you're saying that some of these houses have been improved, but still have 1900 economic age.
yeah.
You got specifics, right, Jim?
Yeah, there's some River Road, there's one on, I think,
Okay.
Christian Lane by the tracks.
It's another very reasonable question.
And,
Good ask.
an 1800 house didn't have running water problem, it had town water.
Or
It had town water,
electricity.
Electricity,
Outhouses.
so if that improvements have been made, should you update the effective year of the house from 1800 to something else?
My answer is yes. But you're so many years back, I don't know if there's something that is precluding them for doing that. It's an antique or something, I don't know. So yes,
Well,
of course,
then they need to explain it to
Right.
us.
I'm with it.
But you need to, and I guess you could do a search on that to look at the age of houses that are all built in 1800s and see what if any of them have an effective year, I guess that'd be an easy search to see.
And it'd be an easy question for RJ.
Yeah,
I see Jane's putting down great notes. We've decided you're gonna be the email putter together on this.
okay,
I'll give it my best shot.
Yeah, send it out to Fred. I
Yeah.
trust, I trust how you put it
well,
together.
we can.
No, not necessarily. And so one thing that, based on what you just said, that we might want is the Patriots cards for houses built in the 18 and 1900s, so we
Yes.
can look at the effective date.
And
Right,
determine if it's,
Did I say it right?
yes,
yes, you might wanna also add, how do you determine effective date for a home built in the 1800s? So there are different criteria. You know, you don't have to say that, just shouldn't these effective dates be changed? If they've been improved, and they might come up with all the answers why or why not. And this is a better way to, I know you've mentioned a lot of these things more than once, and we've
So
never
and
really
if,
presented.
if there's like 100 houses, we don't need Patriots cards for 100 houses, but we would like to see how houses, how is the effective date recorded on Patriots cards for houses, so can you give us,
yeah,
you know, like a half a dozen, would that be in?
Well, no, just say, how do you determine effective date if a house is built in 18 or 1900s? Period. That's all we need to know. And they'll say, well, if it's built in the 1800s, we apply certain criteria. Or could be 1800 or 2025, it's the same criteria.
Yeah.
And therefore, so keep it simple, I guess, is,
Well,
how do you determine it?
of course, the easy answers are look at building permits, I mean, the same building permits, so nothing was done.
Well, then that's another
Yes.
problem.
Yeah,
That leads us to a different, yeah.
So could they easily provide us with a list of houses that were built in the 1800s and
yes.
1900s?
Yes,
Cause I'm curious how many, this is my, you know,
I don't know, I'm guessing 100 maybe, I
I think
don't
so,
know.
I think you got that many. Could
Maybe
be right,
not, I
could be
don't know.
right.
And I guess every so often you run across that, we're looking at the property cards and you see it's built in 1800 and no effective year, so I guess it raises.
is it called effective year or effective date?
Effective year,
Effective year, okay,
an effective year is an economic term,
okay,
regarding,
cause I found myself switching to the word date.
yeah, no problem, effective year,
Okay,
Yeah.
Fred, I have a crazy day tomorrow, so it may be Friday before I can try to put this together.
And it's,
you're all over your jet lag, are you?
No, not real, it's really hit me hard this time,
I bet.
I think the older you get.
I don't travel anymore, I can't do it. So good for you, I hope you enjoy it.
let's see, here's one that we did. Or just assurance. A value less than, the bottom list, 200, less than 200,000. I don't know, I guess information, I don't know what we did.
What are you showing me here? It's,
Just a list of owners, the least value,
oh, least valuable.
and I guess it's more information, do you think that's reasonable? Did you know that houses were valued that low in town? That's just.
It doesn't surprise. That doesn't surprise me at all, to tell you the truth. Somebody from North Realty. Regina Rose. Yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me.
Rick Ferrick's got 3 or 4 probably on here.
Does he really?
Yeah.
If you have, I'll reserve.
Look at that, the lowest, yeah, right there's one of his, yeah. State Road, number 13, yeah,
Which one's fair?
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is it?
Yeah,
What does
just,
it tell you?
I know, it's just, information, curious information, I guess, and to know whether it was reasonable, I guess. We didn't really do anything.
That's a very difficult term to
Yeah.
define.
Yeah, so. The same with these that are over at 500,000.
Right.
Okay, I think we're signed out, haven't we?
You have been signed up because you're not currently signed in. Oh,
Okay.
well,
Okay, the other thing you mentioned, I made a copy of. Reaching you on the 52 North Street.
is it, I think it's 9.
You know,
Yeah. That's I know Jane's under a time commitment.
59 North Street, well. Take it where you
Okay,
read what you want, that's.
you wanna,
What I keep asking about, what are we doing with that, and it's, yeah. David Manzello's working on that, well, this is going on since July,
okay, and has the
that's all.
only thing that bothers me is, have they reached out to us and have we not responded?
No,
Have they reached out to us is the first
but
question.
no.
But they did reach out to you, yeah.
No. not to
Okay,
me.
okay, so they've reached out to RG.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I assume they did, I don't know, this went to. Derek gave this to David
Okay.
Manzello and said, here, handle it.
So it's being looked at.
And I don't know if Derek is any contact with the property owner or not.
Well, I suspect that this is not a short process.
I don't get a definite answer from him. It's like, well, Manzello's handling it, so ask him.
And it looks to me like it's at the appellate tax board at this point.
Yeah, and I don't know the time period where appellate tax board has to decide on this, so.
We need to get our attorney involved, or I think we're good to
They're
take.
doing it for us, I guess.
I think we're fine.
They're.
I mean, as long as we didn't ignore it, and that was my concern.
The other thing, so we'll prepare this list.
Oh, yeah, they
start.
sent something to you right here.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's to
that's
you.
yeah,
And so they have reached out to us.
yeah, but we haven't responded because RRG is supposed to do that for us.
I think we should have responded. It's too late now.
Okay.
Way too late.
Yeah,
We should have responded to that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had received this.
yeah. Okay, Jane will try to prepare something here for our next. For next Thursday, I'm meeting with RRG and we can.
What's going on? Why are we meeting next Thursday?
That was a
I think
regular.
it's a regular meeting.
Oh, fine.
Regular meeting.
This we should have addressed.
Yeah, one other thing that kind of related to this, that's gonna come up is the budget for next year. Our board of assessors budget, and in there is RRG's contract price of 40,000,
Yeah, yeah.
continuing from what we had.
Right.
If they say they can't do this unless they need more money, what are we gonna say? I
Well,
wanna increase the budget for this? They
I,
wanna do these 10-year inspections, but
if they want more money, let's cross that bridge when we get there.
or if they say, well, we can't do it within the existing contract,
Well, then we'd have to cross that bridge too.
are we open to discussing an increase in the contract?
Of course.
Peter is kind of adamant about what the numbers are. And of course, Stephen last year tried to increase it. Cause he had a copy that had a different value in it. And Manzello stuck with Stephen and I went to Peter, I said, Peter, here's what it says, 40,000, period. Okay, that's what we're going with, 40, not the 42 that Manzello wanted.
The only way that they could, I've written so many contracts about it, is amend the
Yeah,
contract.
to amend
They would have
it,
amended,
right,
thereby changing it. I don't know if addend or amend means change or not, but a change in the contract. And so if they want the bigger number, they have to addend the contract, change the contract, or they're stuck with what they got.
right.
Now, they can call back, they can say we need more, but that's the change.
Okay.
And then we'd have to make the determination,
Yeah,
is that what we wanna do? But that's another
well, that's
what if scenario.
gonna come up in the next month or two.
It'll come up.
present the contract to the finance committee.
I, being new still. Like where we are now versus where we were this time last year with our meeting.
Okay.
I was very pleased with the last meeting. I thought that was perfect.
So am I supposed to give this back to you?
No,
No, you
keep
can have that.
Should that.
That my, you see that they did reach out to us. We never responded.
Okay.
That first letter, they said, it's the first letter right there. Please accept this document that we're gonna file. As you know, we're not happy if we would like to perhaps. We would like to meet with you, basically is what they're saying, aren't they?
Yeah, now they're probably gonna file another abatement come January, when we get to January tax.
I understand. I don't wanna over labor this point, but I wish I'd known this, because this required an immediate phone call or meeting with them.
Now, see, Derek kind of says some things happened with him, or some discussion with him, but I can never get a definite
Yeah,
answer,
he's-
like, either he did it or Manzello did it, and don't worry about it, cause they're communicating with
that
each
would-
other.
That would be a topic for executive session.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess it could be.
And it should be a question that you put in this email. To RRG, where are we on this?
You mean you want me to include that in?
Yeah, where are we on this? What's the scenario, what's the?
So Fred, I'm gonna send it to you
Yes.
and I'll send it to Mike. And I'm just gonna do it as an email and then you can copy and paste it and put it in Word and adjust it to how you want. Does that sound,
Yes,
is that okay?
If it does.
Because I don't wanna get into the sending it back and forth 17 times like when we're trying to do those documents.
Violating open meeting.
good.
So we're good?
Yes,
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.
Do you need to adjourn the meeting?
okay, meeting adjourned.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.